All right, hey guys. This is an explanation on how to complete your test review for today. You have a test tomorrow on September 16th. So this is just to help you go through it. So this first question, I would use Desmos. This is an equation. It has one variable, which is x. I would change the variable to an a. So in Desmos, I would type 3/4 times 12a minus 8, and then use a tilde to say 4a plus 9. So type that in, tell me what the variable equals, and you'll be done with that one. On this one, I will not be able to use Desmos for this, unfortunately, because it's in inequality, which means it has multiple answers. And then it says choose the following values that belong in the solution set, which means that there's more than one. And then I'll circle all that apply. So here I'm going to tell you that you are going to add 6b to both sides. And then subtract 18 from both sides. Then you will divide by the coefficient, because you'll get a new coefficient, of b. Okay, so right here the coefficient of b is -3, here the coefficient is 6. When you move it over here, they'll combine, and then the coefficient changes. It will not be -3 and it will not be 6. And then you have to determine who is in the solution set. This will say b is greater than or equal to some number. So you have to choose who it's greater than or equal to. There will be two answers here. All right, number 3. It says find the value of x so that both figures have equal perimeters. So perimeter is where you add all the sides. So this is 2L plus 2W, and this is a square, so this will be 4 times the side. Okay? So we'd say 2 times x plus 3 plus 2 times 2x plus 1, because that's my length and my width. Then I will set them equal to 4 times the 8x, because each of these is 8x and I have 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then I'll also put this in Desmos. You will have a question like this on your test. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know that you're adding all 4 sides. Now, it's not a regular rectangle anymore where you say, okay, this is 4 and this is 9, and then you say 4 times 2 plus, 2 times 9. So you have to be mindful that this is what needs to be calculated, except we're replacing this with 4 and this with 9. It doesn't matter. The length can be the width, or the width can be the length, as long as you have 2 of each. And then this would just be the area of the perimeter of a square. So if I have 7 over here, 7 over here, the perimeter of this would be 28, because that's 4 times 7. So you got to be mindful of how to find perimeter. They're not going to give you the formula for perimeter. They're going to expect you to remember from 3rd grade. I know, a long time ago. 4, it says, what is the possible solution for the inequality given? All right, you'll have to add 8 to both sides, then divide by 3 from both sides. Okay, remember this is an inequality. P is greater than blank. Is this answer greater than blank? Is this answer greater than blank? Is this one greater than blank? Or is this one greater than whatever you put here? Number 5, solve the equation. So here, this would go straight into Desmos. I can keep the v. It'll be 14v plus 6 tilde 2 times the sum of 5 and 8v. And then I'll find out what v is. Remember, if you have v equals 0, you've got to determine, is it no solution? Or is it infinite solutions? So sometimes you have to check. But because this one isn't a multiple choice question, I'm not sure of what they're going to be asking for until I see the test. So if they say v equals 0, you got to determine, does v really equal 0, or does it mean that there won't be anything that v can equal? Because Desmos is always going to spit out an answer. You just have to determine if it's correct. Number 6, to clean a garage, Maria charges a flat fee of $12 for supplies and then $19.25 per hour of work. So that'll be 12 plus, $9.25 x. And it says Mr. Johnson has $48 to spend. If X represents the number of hours Maria works, how many hours can she spend cleaning his garage? So this will be $48. So here I would subtract 12 from both sides, then divide by 9.25. You are going to get a decimal for this one. Turn it into a fraction. Answer a fraction. 7, it says when determining the volume of a pyramid, we use the formula V equals big BH divided by 3, where V stands for volume, big B stands for area of the base, and H stands for height. Solve for B. So volume equals area of the base times the height divided by 3. So wherever you see this and there's something in the fraction here, there's a number here, always multiply by this number. Okay, you want to get B by itself. You cannot multiply by B. B is already being multiplied by H. If I multiply by another B, that's going to end up being B squared H. That's not what I want. So please don't assume that you multiply by B. That is incorrect. So you must multiply by 3 on both sides and then get rid of that H. Remember how to do so. Number 8, 44 plus 8x equals 8 times x plus 5. I would put this in Desmos, but if it equals 0, I need to check. Check Desmos answer. All right, number 9. Another Desmos one, another one where we need to check the answer. Same as number 8. Here, these are kicking our bottoms. We have to be mindful of these numbers and values here. Wherever we see this, we must get rid of the x and move it to the other side. So I must subtract 8x from both sides. And when I subtract 8x, I am not going to have 16. I start with 3 terms. I have to end with 3 terms. 1 term, 2 term, 3 terms. Okay? Then at the end, I have to divide by the coefficient of y. Be mindful of what you're doing there. Okay, number 11. Solve this the old school way. I would divide both sides by 2. Then subtract 2x from both sides. Then add 5 to both sides. Here, I would apply my distribution rules. Be careful with this one. You've got to determine, is the left actually greater than the right? Here, this is Desmos. And here, we've got to distribute. 3 to the n and negative 4. Then we'll subtract n term from the right. And then we'll subtract 6 from the left. And then we'll divide by my coefficient of n. Coefficient of n. All right, that's my time. Good luck. Practice, practice, practice. You got this.